We'll see if this once this goes live. How's the weather down there in Dallas today, Josh? John.
Perfect. 70 degrees.
Well, that's awesome. We are
if you like 70-degree weather.
Yeah, I can't complain about that, can you?
No,
I'm going
sir.
to share this to LinkedIn and paste. All right, thanks for watching, folks. I'm going to share this link real quick, and we'll get to this podcast. John, do you know how I tag you on LinkedIn? John.
At Jonathan Hufnagel.
Post. All right, welcome to the Blue Falcon Podcast. I'm Bobby Steagall, owner and CEO of Bobby Money Consulting and Bobby Global Media and Marketing. I'm joined today with a close friend of mine and an outstanding businessman, owner and founder of Dash App, Jon Hufnagel.
Thanks for having me, Bobby. It's exciting to be back
thanks.
On the Blue Falcon Podcast for a second time. I appreciate the invite. Yeah. Thank you for doing that. I'm glad it didn't scare you and your audience away the first time. So I'll work on that this time.
Round two?
Round two, yeah. I'll put my scary face on.
Fair enough. Well, I don't think you could harm a fly, but you do have some pretty killer instincts when it comes to business. So we actually have
I'm okay.
You're okay? I feel like you're on point. We have about a 30-minute podcast here, and John and I went over some key topics that we want to cover for the Pivot to Profit series, which is not only applicable to 2020, which we know has been a different year, but as we continue throughout business and growing our business and pivoting it to ensure the continued profit of our business for ourselves and for our employees and for the community. So, John, I'll let you go ahead and take the floor here, and let's go ahead and hit on this first topic.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. Probably the first thing I could do is just refresh everybody of who I am, where I came from, what our business is. So my name is Jonathan Hufnagel. I'm the founder of Dash. Dash is a fan engagement platform for professional sports teams. So I actually started my sports career back in 2010 with FC Dallas, Major League Soccer. I was in ticket sales. I had my aha moment. I had just noted the struggles that our team's foundation director had with the silent auction she hosted during our games. They were pen and paper. And I had my light bulb moment. I'm like, well, it's 2013 at this time. Why don't we just digitize this whole process? So before I started the business, I had called a ton of sports teams to see if they were, hosting pen and paper auctions too. And also knew that I needed a strong co-founder. I'm not technically minded, and I needed someone who could build a platform that teams would be excited to put in the palm of their fans' hands. So it took me 2 years, but I, no joke, got on an elevator one day and met the guys who build the digital platforms for brands like NBC Universal, WWE, Nat Geo, TNT, TBS. Essentially gave them my 30-second elevator pitch, and we decided we wanted to get off the elevator and start a business. So we did.
How long of an elevator ride was that, by the way?
It was 1 floor, so it may have been a little less than 30 seconds, and we may have talked a little bit after we got off the elevator too. But we're in business together now. I'll back up a little bit. Yeah, we took the idea to concept to revenue generating in 60 days. And then in April of 2016, we brought a product to market and have since grown to 135 teams that now work with our business. Wow. We only work with professional sports teams. We don't have an auction platform that works with like the Big Brothers, Big Sisters of the world, or the Oklahoma State banquet dinner for the Alumni Association that happens once every year here in Dallas. That's not our business. We solely focus on professional sports teams. So as we've grown our business over the last 4 years, we've taken a lot of the feedback that the teams have given us to help them drive two important metrics. which is digital revenues and finding new leads, names, number, email address of fans who are fans of their team. So we've built out our platform from auctions into raffles to instant purchase items. Teams were asking us to have the ability to sell tickets and merchandise and concessions. And it's been a really great journey along the way. It's been tough along the way. There's been a lot of ups and downs, but things are getting really interesting. COVID has helped our business tremendously. We have a lot of teams who have, been put into a pretty tough position where they can't have fans in the stands, or they had to end their season early and they needed to sell inventory in a way that was meaningful and authentic and easy.
Hey,
for
John,
not just them,
I'm sorry
but
to
their
interrupt you,
fans.
but my dog is asking to go inside. He's sitting here begging for some water.
Oh,
let you
yeah, let
continue.
him
I'll be right
inside.
back. Sorry.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much the end of my story. Don't have much else to talk about today. But yeah, so we've got a business. I've got 4 co-founders. They're all on the dev side of the team. We've got a really great process. So we start with an experienced designer. And as we get feedback from our teams, we take that feedback and design what that digital product would look like. And then we hand that over to our dev team. So I've got 2 gentlemen, one who works on our server and one who works on our web platform, and another one, Ryan, who works on our Android and our iOS apps. So once we've thought we've got the platform in a good place, we hand it over to our QA engineer, Ian Parkinson. And Ian's fantastic. And basically, Ian's job is just to try to break the platform and the new functionalities that the team has brought to the table. And we just kind of reiterate version after version after version until we finally release it out into the public. And then we introduce it to the teams and we teach them how to use it properly, maximize the most out of the tool, and drive more revenue and drive more fans to engage and find more leads. So that's Dash.
So it's an ever-evolving business, it sounds like.
Yeah, it is. When we first started the business, I was kind of dead set that this was going to be an auction platform. But as things kind of developed along the way, I had people who surround me here in my business, like our experienced designer, Jason, some of our advisors saying, what you have, yes, you have auctions, but what you really have is a very strong fan engagement platform that allows you to engage fans in an authentic way, not just once, but over and over and over in a nice kind of surprise and delight way, as often as you want to. So based on that, we've been able to introduce these new functionalities to make things more appealing.
Yeah, I remember you telling me, because you worked for New York Life. Oh, you cut out on me, John, for a little bit. Hold on, folks. John has cut out. So I worked with John in our fraternity on several, avenues to increase participation amongst the membership and social events and things like that. And I knew he always had a business mindset. And as soon as I was about to give him some compliments here, he disappears. So let me see if I can't get him back in here. We'll be right back. Oh, here he is. John, you there, bud? Hey, John, can you hear us? This is the beauty of having live stream.
Hey, here you are.
Yeah, you're good. Hey, man, we always got to pivot, right? We got to think on the fly.
I didn't touch anything. I promise. Sure. I didn't break it this time.
Whatever.
I didn't.
All right. Well, I was just giving you compliments.
It says
about
we're on air. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I was giving you compliments about your business ethics that you even had in college, and how you were always kind of an entrepreneurial mindset in college. And I knew from our freshman year that that should probably stay friends with you, be nice to you, because you're a pretty cool guy. But also, you you took care of people, and you're always trying to find something for the greater good and try to build something. And that's something I always admired about you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I appreciate the kind words. Yeah, I would say I was fairly entrepreneurial in college, though I think what I enjoy most is creating things and bringing value to folks. I can remember, like, in our first week at college, someone had said that there's this race team on campus, and
Right.
these students would design, manufacture, and build race cars. Basically, they would just take an engine out of a motorcycle, build a frame around it, and then they'd go race other universities all around the world. But
Not very
someone
much
had
fun for a
said,
college kid to do at
don't
all.
mess. Yeah, not fun at all. No, it sounds pretty cool, right? But someone said, "Oh, don't mess with those guys. It's totally a mess." Da 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 da. So 3 years later, one of our fraternity brothers, Arliss Mock, we were at a tailgate, getting ready for the football game, and he said, "Hey, I'm the chief engineer of the race team. I know you love motorsports and you're good at business. Why don't you come to one of our meetings?" So I showed up at this meeting, and there's like me and 50 engineers, and Arliss gets up there and he's like, "Hey guys, my name's Arliss. Here's what we hope to accomplish this year. Here's how you get certified for the machine so you don't cut your arms off. And oh, by the way, here's
The
Jonathan.
CNC and lathe
He's going to raise
machines.
all our
Yep.
Jonathan's going to raise all of our money." And I'm like, "Well, what are you talking about?"
Wait.
Never said I was going to do that. And I quickly found out that these cars are like $20,000 to build, and we had $56 in our bank account. So I needed
not
a
a good start.
resume filler no, not a good start. I needed something to put on my resume because I was going to graduate in 6 months. So I kind of sunk my teeth in. It's 2008 at this time. And what was really cool is that at Oklahoma State, it's a land grant university, which really they just lean into the kids and the students to allow them to become all that they're meant to be. And so what I quickly realized about this program is that it was the most real world applicable program at school for students before they got out into the real world and getting some real world experience. So I said, look, we can have business students here raising funds and marketing the team. So I went to the dean of the business school and said, "Hey, we've got these engineering students who are doing everything, designing, raising money, doing the marketing. What if we got some business students in here to go out and raise the funds so that the engineering kids could focus on the car and design the best thing they could?
Right.
So when we go to competition, we can win this thing." And then I went to the journalism broadcasting school for PR students. And then I went to the ag school because we could run our cars on biofuels and ethanol. So in 6 months, we had raised $20,000, and we had collaborated these 4 colleges all together within the university. And we went to competition that year. We did all right. And now that program is bringing in about $50,000 every single year, like clockwork. So it was kind of cool to, get things going there and kind of use my entrepreneurial spirit as well as like my creative mind and my desire to build things of value and see that kind of come to fruition. I think one of my biggest regrets, though, that I have in my life is that I actually didn't get started on this our freshman year when people were saying, "Oh, no, don't mess with those guys. It's a total mess." What I should have seen is, hey, that's probably a really good opportunity to create something. So
it's a challenge.
We're here nor there.
You saw the challenge.
Yeah, it's a challenge. So we've got some more fun things going on.
What's the best way to
days.
look that up? That's the Oklahoma State race team.
I would just go to the old Googly, type in Oklahoma State racing team. Go to the Googly.
That's pretty interesting. $50,000 like clockwork, so they're definitely winning now. If they only needed $20K back then, they should be winning like clockwork now, correct?
Yeah, they should be hiring professional drivers. Put those guys in there. But
well,
they
I thought you were going to be one of the drivers.
It's just, yeah, I wanted to be, but it didn't end up happening. It's too slow.
Man. Okay, fair enough.
My right foot wasn't heavy enough, I guess. What's funny
Well,
is on the streets, everybody makes fun of me because I drive slow.
you do not drive slow. What are you talking about? Unless you've changed.
I definitely do. Yeah, I have.
Okay, all right.
Got
I remember.
responsibilities. I got to stay alive these days.
I remember you picking me up in a van last time I was in Dallas, and I was like, "Wow, John has changed a lot. We got the family van now." And I was like, "Okay." So maybe you're right.
Well,
Maybe you
my
do drive
car
a lot
was in the
slower than I
shop
thought.
then because, yeah, well, it's not my first choice. That was a rental car. My other car, we had a hailstorm that came through, so I was getting that fixed $5,000 later.
Oh man.
So,
anyways, we have Michael Goldberg in here, and Randy Alvis. Michael Goldberg.
Oh, do we? Michael Goldberg. What's going on,
we
Michael
got a question
Goldberg?
for you.
Is there a way Michael Goldberg can? Let's hear it.
Yeah. So if you could say anything to your younger self that would allow you to change anything throughout his success, what would it be? That's a great question, Randy. Thanks. It's an old military buddy.
That is. Yeah, so I would say that don't hesitate. If your heart and your gut tell you to do something and you think it's of value, don't hesitate. Just do it. Take that first step. I think most people don't take that first step for whatever reason. Maybe they don't think that it's a good idea, or they don't think that other people will respond to it, or maybe they're embarrassed if they fail. But at the end of the day, if you do fail a week from now, no one's going to pay any attention. They don't care. They've already forgotten about it. But that would be my first thing. Just go. It's true. No one cares.
It's totally,
no one cares.
It's really funny how much we think that
forward.
everyone cares about us and everything that we're doing. Like every single time I post a video, I'm like, oh man, I hope everyone likes it. The truth be told, if it crashed and it was terrible, which a lot of them are, I've made a lot of improvements throughout the years, but at the end of the day, people will move on. And it's about building for myself. It's about building on improvements and comparing myself to, say last month or last year, or how much I can help people.
Yeah.
Whether it's the podcast or any of my other businesses, it's comparing myself to that, and just like you said, jumping in. And that was actually one of our topics today, also, the hustle at night.
Yeah, you're totally right. I mean, it could be things that are really positive that you want to share. Be things that are negative, but at the end of the day, nobody really cares. Most people are so busy and focused on themselves that there's no reason to hesitate for fear of what other people's opinions are about you.
Because they're going to think what they're going to think, no matter what.
Any other questions come through? Michael Goldberg, is he still tuned in? It's good to hear from you, buddy.
Yeah. I guess next time we need to put a number down there at the bottom.
Text in.
People to call in.
Text your questions to John.
Okay, we will add that.
But when it comes to some of these when it comes to some of these bigger things that you want to do with your life, whether it is start a business or start a nonprofit, I think that it's important to take the small steps first. Instead of quitting your job, committing to something that's unproven. So kind of as you mentioned, hustle at night. I think that's a great time to get these new ideas going, build some traction, see if there's any validation in the marketplace that you're wanting to pursue. And what that allows you to do too is not over-engineer the problem that you're trying to solve or this great thing that you're trying to do. One of the challenges that I had when I first started Dash, and thank goodness I had a really great team around me who were really good at telling me no, was that I tried to over-engineer the platform. I would keep saying, teams need this, teams need that. Oh, well, we got to have this too. And every time I brought these ideas to them, it was no, we're not going to build this because this is a minimally viable product. And this is step one.
Okay.
And it took me months for that light bulb and that mentality to finally hit me and really sink in. So as we build out new technologies in our platform, we are building that minimally viable product. So we introduce raffles. What's the minimally viable experience for raffles? We introduced giveaways. What's the minimally viable giveaway experience that teams need as well as fans need? So I hope that helps with the audience that's listening here.
Yeah, that's really good insight, John. I should have you on the podcast more often. I appreciate that. You really do give back to your friends and family
and
around you. As I say that, yeah, perfect timing.
Yeah,
I've noticed that. Sorry about the delay, guys. We're still working on the delay thing, so we have to time this good. But you mentioned also, or I guess we did on this things we wanted to hit and cover. What exactly are some keys to success to you when you say solving big problems brings big value? That's it's kind of a foreign concept. When if you get scared, if you do see a big problem, it's kind of a there's no way I could probably fix that. But when you have a business that you want to grow exponentially, you're completely right when we talked about that. It has to bring big value to fix a big problem. So I'd love you to hit on that a little bit.
Yeah, so that's a great point. So there were two things that I should have done when I first started the business. I did one of them, which was I had my aha moment, noted the struggles of our team's foundation director, said, hey, if I built this for you, would you use it? And she said, yes, this is fantastic. But having the validation point of one person wasn't enough. I needed to go out and call more and more teams to say, hey, this is the same thing that we're trying to solve here at FC Dallas. I'm thinking about starting this business. Do you have these same problems? And what's the minimally viable solution to solve your problem? So, I called 50 plus teams before I started this business because I didn't want to walk down this path not knowing what was going to be viable. And I think a lot of people miss that step. They're like, oh, I've got this great idea. Then they go build a product or they build a service. And then they realize no one cares. It doesn't solve a problem. It's not valuable. Right. So the other thing that I kind of struggled with when I first got going, and I started to learn this along the way, is that working in sports, the problem that we want to solve is actually not big enough problem to solve. Now, it's all relative to the amount of success that you want to have. So if I wanted to build a business and I wanted to sell it for $10 million in 4 years, well, I probably need to have an addressable market of $2 or $3 billion. And so I kind of stepped over that step when I first got going with our business here. So for us, I don't think we will be a business that addresses a $3 billion a year problem. It's more closer to like 1.2 billion, which is still a big number.
That's a great number. I like that number.
It is a great number, but the bigger that number is, the less competition and the more of a problem you're solving for a larger number of people. And you're dealing with more dollars. And so you can grow that business a lot faster when you're dealing with a much larger addressable market. If that makes sense. So I kind of overlooked that when I first got going with the business, and it didn't hit me until maybe 1 or 2 years that I was really up against it, which meant I was really going to have to build a fantastic product, a great experience, but we really were going to have to be the number one, hands down, in our marketplace of sports. And I also needed to then find new ways of pivoting to grow our business. Auction transactions it's not big enough out there. So what were the other things that we could bring into our business, such as the ability to sell tickets or merchandise or concessions or raffle items? Or can I build a service side of our business that takes everything that a team would use Dash for, selling items, marketing it to fans, the data they get from fans. Could I take that off a team's plates and just do it for them? Would that be a
What do
big
you find
enough
most of these
business
teams
and a
are
large enough
benefiting from? Sorry. How do you see teams benefiting from technology? Are they really taking advantage of it, or is that kind of where you come into play?
Some teams are. There's a lot of them that do, and a lot of them that don't. What we have found in a lot of the partner teams that we work with is that they're all very understaffed. And so thinking of these new ideas or using a new platform just isn't always top of mind, because you may have a front office of 10 people, but they're wearing the hats of 50 people. So it's tough for them to lean into technologies or a different way of doing things. At the same time, a lot of these decision makers at these sports teams, they're getting phone calls from other businesses that are startup businesses like ours, that they say, well, we're the latest and greatest. We've got this and we've got that, and you can do this. So these decision makers in the front office are now having to be like a quasi CTO in vetting technologies based on their world of sports, where they don't really have a lot of experience with new businesses and technologies, and they can make missteps. So for the last 4 or 5 years, there's companies out there that are getting going, and they say, oh my gosh, let's get into sports. Look at all the people who are in the stands. Look how many people follow their social channels. If we just got one team, we'd have 15,000 people on our platform. And that's just not how it works. So these people in the front offices are trying to carry through their day-to-day business and driving revenue and the fan experience and doing all the things they need to do. But at the same time, they're getting people who are entrepreneurs like myself, who are really good at sales and really persistent and share all these amazing ideas. And then what happens
Would you
is
say it's
they
a
say
personality
yes to
trait
that
also?
technology. For who?
Like being personable for you, like you're being personable with them. Like you're not just an app. You're Jon. You're offering Jon Hufnagel and the team, not just an app per se.
Yeah, we are. We are totally. But yeah, just speaking with, people within the front offices, why it kind of takes a little while for them to want to use new technologies or use the technologies right. Those are kind of the challenges that they have. So for our business, as we've grown it and we've gotten to understand these 135 teams that work with us, is that we have heard this side of the story. But at the same time, we hear that, since they're all wearing, 5 different hats, they need someone in a company that has a very good service side of their business, that has a Jon Hufnagel that can pick up the phone at any time to talk through different strategies of engaging fans digitally that works and drives revenue or collects a lot of names and numbers. So we've built out a whole service side of our business where we're sharing the ideas and the best practices and the success stories as much as possible for our teams, because we know that over here, they've got people calling them saying, we've got the latest and greatest fan engagement revenue generating platform. And at the same time, these people over here in the front offices are, trying to carry on with their day-to-day workloads as well.
Well, I'm looking through your website right now. This is really impressive. It's been a while since I've been on your website, probably about a year or two. How do you engage your audience? Not necessarily clients, but the people who are your clients, I guess, consumers, customers. Do you try to reach out to the end consumer? Yeah, the fans. Do you try to reach out to the end consumer and make sure that they're understanding of your platform and what it offers so they can get the most out of it? Or is that more on the teams to ensure that the fans understand the platform?
I think it's both. So for our teams, we do market to our teams, and it's not like we're marketing them to come on board with us. It's more the way we market is to share the success stories of what other people have used the platform for. Or
Right.
let's say that we introduce a new functionality like giveaways. We share with our teams, what are some of the best practices to drive ticket sales, merchandise sales, collect new leads of people that you can call on and say, hey, have you been out to a Tulsa Oilers game recently? We saw you engaged with our giveaways. Have you thought about coming to the game? Things of that nature. But at the same time, there are the fans who they need to be educated on, what this platform is. So we help teams position that with the fans. So it's, hey, Tulsa Oilers fans, Dash is the place to get your most authentic memorabilia, game experiences, unique merchandise. This is where you participate in our raffles, our chuck-a-pucks, and this is where all the fun stuff happens. Don't forget to sign up for the
newsletter or whatever it is. Keep them engaged.
Yeah, exactly. Because we really are a fan engagement platform that allows teams to engage fans authentically and differently every single week. And so letting fans know, this is why you want to stay engaged with Dash, because this is where all the cool stuff comes from. It's not on our Shopify store. It's not following our Twitter account. It's on Dash that on any given Tuesday, you might be able to get a signed piece of memorabilia or a game experience that you don't normally get. I go to like hockey games, I see 3 guys dressed up as a Bud Light bottle racing each other around on the ice, and I'm like, well, how the heck do I participate in that? Well,
that looks like a lot of fun.
Dash doesn't participate in that. Yeah, it totally is. So we'll have to do that one day. But we have tools that we've built into the platform that allow teams in Dash to continue to engage those fans, such as we have a pretty strong messaging tool where we use text message, push notifications, and web notifications too.
I'm going to cut you off right there real quick.
Yeah.
Because I did have 2 other questions on here, but I know that we have 0 minutes left with you. So I think we have to do a part 2.
Oh, yeah.
Next week. Does that sound okay? Because there's 3 other questions on here. And I'd love to get those answered.
Yeah.
I do appreciate those questions, Randy and Shelley.
Well, the good thing is, Bobby, you know where to go to hold of me. So let's just jump on later this week and do a part 2. Maybe we pick a day and we'll let everyone in the audience know. We'll let Michael Goldberg know.
Hey, you can get him in on the podcast. Questions. He wants to come in here. Yeah.
Let's do it. Michael's a teacher now.
Well, Jon, thank you so much for your time, brother. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Bobby, for having me on. And thank you for everybody for tuning in. And I look forward to part 2.5.
Awesome. All right, everyone have a blessed day. Thanks again, Jon. Take care. Bye.